Hello, hello. Welcome, guys. Welcome, welcome. Yeah. As you guys are popping on, let us know, where are you joining us from across the globe? Let us know where you're joining us from across the globe. I'm looking for Jackie here. So she can be my administrator. You guys, my name is Melissa Hinault. Welcome to the Inside Scoop. You guys have an action-packed next couple of days, really, more than days. Let's see here. Just letting everybody in. You guys, we are like breaking the mold in technology today. We are streaming through Zoom. We are streaming through Facebook. We are streaming through LinkedIn Live, Instagram Live, and YouTube. So bear with us as we get everybody loaded on the Inside Scoop Zoom, because this is my favorite group because you guys are live interacting with us. Okay, I see Jackie now. So now I've got to go find you, Jackie, so I can make you an here we go. I'm going to make you a co-host. And actually, I'm going to make Jess, I'm going to make you a co-host too, so that we have multiple co-hosts. All right, I've got all kinds of screens moving here. All right, hang on. You guys, I have a phone in front of me for Instagram. So for your friends who don't have a Facebook account and they want to like hang out over on Instagram, we're streaming live there too. Okay, I'm going to stop admitting people. I'm going to get going. I'm going to let Jackie, I'm going to let you take it over. Cool. All right. Awesome. Everybody's telling us where they're from. Colorado Springs, Los Angeles, Ontario, Nova Scotia, Texas, Florida, South Wales, Canada, Nova Scotia, Alabama. I love it. I love it. Okay. I actually have to get us going live on Facebook. So you guys give me a second. Bear with us as we get this technology going. We are going to be going to a group. That group is going to be the Burnout to All Out page. It's going to make some double noise for a second, and then we'll get going. Got it? Here we go. Just a minute. Facebook is thinking. Okay, cool beans. Let me. Cool. All right. Now, back to the Zoom screen. There you guys are. Awesome. All right, here we go. Yay. Now let me just hit start with my Instagram fans. Are we live? Let's see. Hang on. Guys. And hang on. Almost there. Let's go live and start. I think we're there. Maybe. All right. We are live on Instagram, Facebook, streaming live to our Zoom community. So excited to be here, guys, from all over the globe. I see you guys from everywhere. My name is Melissa Hinault. I am the founder of the LinkedIn Method, which is why you guys are here today. So excited for you to be here. It's crazy. Actually, this is our 2-year anniversary of actually launching the concept of training social sellers on leveraging LinkedIn to talk business to business instead of the other social platforms. 2 years ago in October, it was an idea. A year ago, we launched the Academy. And here we are today celebrating those milestones. We've had over 400 students go through our program. So freaking exciting. So in the first half of the presentation today, I want you guys to get to know me, get to know my team. I'm going to be sharing a little bit about my background, how this LinkedIn strategy happened, and then we're going to dive into why and how LinkedIn is so ridiculously different than the other platforms, okay? And over our next 9-day journey, we have bonus sessions next week and over the weekend. So the first 5 days, we're gonna be coaching you guys on the nitty and gritty around LinkedIn, but we're also going to have some bonus sessions this weekend and then next week as well. So having said that, first of all, just thank you so much for being here. And if you're on Zoom, would love for you to take yourself, put your camera on. I love seeing your beautiful faces and being able to engage with you guys. And if you're streaming live on the other platforms, do know that we have an interactive Zoom going on right now where you guys are going to be able to ask questions and get coached and share with us in the chat, okay? So with that, we have over 600 of you signed up for this workshop, which is just absolutely incredible. And we have over 100 active students inside of our academy going on right now, which is crazy to think about as we hit our anniversary of over 400 students we've trained on the LinkedIn method. And we're going to get to the basics in this inside scoop right here with you guys. Now, the cool thing is, if you know us or the person who referred you into this program, we love making it fun. We love to throw out freebies. We love engagement and we reward engagement. So if you're popping on, just know that the more you engage, the more you post your homework, the more you share about what you're doing on social media, the more likely it is that we're going to reward you with some freebies or some free coaching at the end of the week. We'll talk a little bit about that. So as you're hopping on, what I would love to know, no matter where you're watching us, what platform, tell us, what is your business? You are a social seller. If you are here, this training, by the way, is for social sellers. So you must be selling something socially on social media. And if you're in the business of selling and you're not using social media, I'm glad you're here because you're obsolete if you're not using social platforms, right? So share with us in the chat, what are you selling? What is your offer? What are you selling? We want to know what it is so we can see in the DMs and the chats what you guys are doing. And then also, what are you most excited about? Because we've got actually 9 days together. So let us know in the chat, is there something really specific about LinkedIn or attraction marketing that you want to make sure we hit on over these next 9 days? Put it in the chat. Let us know what you're dying to hear about. Okay. So we can always kind of pivot and cover some things. All right. Now, there's really no better way, you guys. We hit a new season where it's fall, right? We're turning over a new leaf. There is no better way to be sliding into the last 90 days of 2021 than locking into this method. If there's one thing I guarantee, it's that you will get more out of this completely free training over the next 9 days than the last 3 things you paid for. I can guarantee it. You're going to learn from a lot of students who've been on this journey with us, who are going to share their best practices, and they can be a testimony to that you will gain. My goal is that you gain so much traction out of this that you're out of the gates running in the next 9 days. You've got a clear vision of your business, how you can brand yourself on LinkedIn. You've got some confidence to be over there, and you know who it is you're trying to attract and what your value is to them, right? Your next 90 days, this is your game plan. It's going to give you an edge in Q4 to stand above and beyond. And what is our brand promise here in the LinkedIn Method Academy? It's to help you fall back in love with your social selling business. I don't know about you guys. You're going to hear my story in a couple minutes though, where I was at a point where I'd kind of fallen out of love with social selling. I was burnt the hell out, right? And this strategy and this method is going to put sparkle in your eyes. It's going to reinvigorate you for the next quarter to crush it on a viable platform where there aren't a lot of other people competing with you. And we're going to talk about that today, why LinkedIn is so incredibly different. Okay. And what else? Professionalize the industry. I got to a point on Instagram and Facebook where it just didn't feel right. It just didn't feel right. And so I felt as though being on this LinkedIn platform was a much more authentic way to connect. And I'm seeing, Jackie, that my Instagram feed is like, okay, poor connection, it says. Okay, so with that, and lastly, creating a legacy for you and the people that you bring in, right? And for your families. That is a huge mission of mine, is to teach people how to strategically grow a legacy-based business using LinkedIn, because these are like-minded individuals who are looking to grow professionally, to build an asset. And we're going to talk about that. Okay. We're going to talk about that. Yeah, Jackie, my Instagram keeps petering out saying the connection is bad. So I don't know what to do about that. I might have to abort ship on that. Okay. Yeah. So with that, and how are we going to do that this week? It's through the most powerful method on the planet. I'm curious in the chat, you guys share with me, any of you already, like, how did you hear about the Inside Scoop? Do you know someone who's already using this method? Are they already crushing it over there? What are you hearing? Because we truly know that if you're talking business to business, it's the most powerful method on the planet. If you're leading with a business and talking about business, it's the most powerful method on the planet. So a couple of things we're going to cover today: general housekeeping, just a lay of the land of what's in the agenda this week. I'm going to give you a little bit about my story so that you're not just like, why am I here listening to this woman, right? Like, I actually have some experience that you're going to want to hear about. And we're going to dive into the workbook. Today, you're going to get crystal clear on why LinkedIn is so different than Instagram and Facebook. And you're going to jump out of here wanting your LinkedIn profile up and running. Okay. So with that, if you do not have your workbook, please type the word workbook in the chat. So wherever you are, if you're on Zoom or one of the other platforms, please type it in the chat. Okay. Type it in the chat so that we know. And if you have questions today, whichever platform you're on, type your questions in. We'll be sure to come address them. My team, you're going to meet my team in a couple of minutes. They'll help you with any questions that you may have. Okay. Now, with that, again, what's the definition of social selling? That's who we serve. You're selling something. Whatever you're selling, we're going to teach you how to get crystal clear on who it is you're trying to attract and close them and bring them into your business, right? That's what we're going to be doing today. Okay, so for the next 5 days, we're actually going to talk about the next 9, but over the next 5 days, day 1, we're going to talk about LinkedIn basics, okay? I'm going to walk you through why LinkedIn is so different. And on Tuesday, it's a really pivotal day where we're going to really walk through positioning and posturing on LinkedIn. This is incredibly important on LinkedIn, that you actually know how to posture and stand, okay? Day 3, Wednesday, we're going to talk through your ideal business partner. Okay. What keeps them up at night, right? You have to be clear on who it is you're trying to attract before you can create content that attracts them to you, right? And that's a big step a lot of people miss. Then they're at a crossroads of not figuring out how to use this platform, right? Thursday, we're going to go through the value proposition in your virtual business card. So we're actually going to talk about what we call that landing page, right? Your profile page. And a couple of lucky son of guns on Friday are going to get feedback from me with a live audit session with you guys, right? So I want to dangle the carrot out there to you guys to stay engaged, because we're actually going to select 2 of you on Friday to sit in the hot seat with your profiles based off the work you've done. And I'm going to give you feedback so that you can rock and roll on the platform. Now, how do you qualify? The way you qualify is you do your homework. We treat you guys in the Inside Scoop just like we treat our clients inside the academy. We want you taking action. This is not just a course where you're passively going to show up and walk away thinking that was nice, but make no impact or change or difference in your business, right? Every single day, including today, we're going to be assigning you homework that if you take action, regardless of whether you join our academy or not, you are going to get results. Okay. So for those of you who are posting your homework every day, my team's going to be watching. You need to be in our private Facebook community to post your homework. So if you're here, but you're not on Facebook, let your concierge, either Jessica or Randy, know that you need to get into that Facebook group, and so that you can post your homework, so we can see your homework, because 2 of you are going to be selected, and we're going to be giving you real-time feedback on Friday. Okay. Now, Saturday through Tuesday. Yes. What? It's not just 5 days. No, it's actually 9. We didn't want to scare you and call it 9 when you opted in, because we thought you might think it's too much work. But we know that by day 5, you're actually not going to want to miss the rest of it. So this weekend, we're going to be coaching you on some bonus sessions around algorithms and hashtags. Jess is going to be training you on some social media tactics on branding once you get clear on who you're trying to attract. And on next week, we're going to be talking about LinkedIn Live and how to leverage it to get organic reach and growth. So you're not going to want to miss the bonus sessions either. So here's the thing. The challenge, I would love to hear in the chat who can relate to this. But the challenge I want to guess that some of you are experiencing right now is the spammy tactics you've been taught on social media are beginning or have always felt inauthentic, and or they're not attracting the ideal business partners you want. Can anybody relate to that in the chat? Has anybody been fascinated at social selling and specifically network marketing, yet you just never really got into like the tactics that were coached to you? I'm gonna take a little sip of tea because I've got like a rough voice here. Too much fun last week in Mexico on my incentive trip. Okay, or maybe some of you are just never felt right with the bait and switch. Who knows what the bait and switch is? Does anybody know what the bait and switch is? It's where you're recruiting people in for product in a network marketing business, and then you're trying to flip them to the business when all they really wanted was the product. And then you feel weird because you're tugging them along, and they feel weird because they really just wanted the products. And you're scaring away your customers instead of looking for like-minded business partners in a different place, right? Maybe some of you, I see Eric nodding. Yes, you feel that way. Yes, Adrian feels that way. I love seeing your faces. Or maybe this is you guys. Maybe some of you just don't have confidence on the LinkedIn platform. How many of you are like, I know I should be on LinkedIn, but I'm not comfortable over there. I don't want to mess up. I know these are like buttoned up people and I don't know how to treat it, or like the buttons and everything just look different. I'm scared, Melissa. I'm scared. Just share with me how to use it, right? I see Tracy nodding. I see Pam. Yes, I see Kathy. Okay, so I was there with you, okay? Especially when I was in corporate, I was already making 6 figures in my network marketing business, and I was pivoting, and I was trying to figure out how to brand myself over there with my new career, okay? And we'll talk about this in a couple of minutes, but I've crushed it. I've nailed it, and I'm teaching everybody else how to do it, and that's why you guys are here, right? So maybe you've tried in the past at a stab in the dark with a lack of confidence. Have any of you like tried over there? Like you like tried it and then like you're like, this isn't working. So you like aborted it, right? Some of you are that way. You're like, Melissa, I've tried it. It just didn't work. Or you don't know how to brand yourself. Maybe you're really savvy with the platform, but you're like, I don't know how to market myself over there in a way that's ideal to attract business partners, right? Maybe you've only used LinkedIn as an employee. How many of you have been over there because you had to put together a resume and look for a job? Anybody? I see Andrea, Tracy, yes, Caitlin, Cindy Lou, yes, Kathy, okay, right? And then you're like, okay, well, that's what I thought of LinkedIn for, but I know it's the business to business platform. So how do I pivot and kind of posture and be a business owner, finding business owners, right? We're going to, I hope you're excited because we're going to coach you through that this week. And I hope that you can all transform your mindset and your profile and your content by the end of this week and be comfortable and confident with it. Okay. Maybe some of you on a deeper level, I'm going to go deep with you guys. Okay. How many of you have a professional background? And believe me, you do not need a professional background to crush this platform. But with that said, how many of you have a professional background and you're nervous to own the industry of network marketing over there? How many of you are afraid they're going to judge you or you're going to like rub them the wrong way because you don't want to be that person, right? I see Shay, I see Tracy, I see Kathy, I see Gloria, right? You're like, oh man, if I could just leverage my network, but I'm not sure how to do it without like being really ridiculous about it, like I've seen on the other platforms, and be judged. Okay. I hear you. I hope that I know that by the end of even day 3, you're going to feel much more confident with using this platform. Okay. Okay. So I am just glad you guys are here. Okay. I want you to imagine finding people for the first time in maybe a year or 2 with pretty quick ease who want what you want, that want to run immediately. I want you to imagine being able to cut straight to the chase and talk business immediately. No dancing around it. No, like, how's your kitty cat? How are your kids? This is a business to business platform. I want you guys to imagine finding partners you can run with immediately. Okay. I want you to think about growing a massive organization of people who want what you want quickly, instead of convincing and like pulling, right? And dragging, right? Okay, that's what I want you guys to imagine. And Jen, just falling back in love with your social selling business, knowing now that you are 100% confident you have locked into the right platform, right? Waking up with prospect calls in your calendar. You guys are going to hear some students who wake up, they've got calls in their calendar from people who they've passively attracted to them. So really quick, my story, and I hope this really inspires you guys. I was a top income earner in my previous network marketing company, still working full-time. I was making 6 figures in my network marketing business, was doing really well as an executive. Get somebody needs a mute over here. And I was already a top income earner in network marketing, and I was burned out of the strategies I was using. Can anyone relate to that? Whether you're a top income earner or not, I was tired of being the hamster on the wheel. I had nailed being able to find customers. Okay. I nailed being able to bring in people every single month, right? But it wasn't what got me really excited was the business. What got me really excited was the fact that I was retiring from corporate and living a completely different life than I had in the past, because I was willing to take that leap. And what got me really excited was talking about building an income producing asset and teaching other people how to do the same thing. Can anybody relate? That like, you're so excited for the vision of your company, but you're getting crickets on the wrong platforms because people aren't seeing what you want, right? I was a hamster on a wheel. I was a queen of bringing in customers, but I built on what I call sand. Does anybody know what that means? I built a castle, and every month it would shrink on sand. I'd recruit, build on a castle that would shrink because I wasn't recruiting and leading with a business. Does that make sense? I was doing all the work, right? So I was plugging holes. So I'll never forget the day I was having dinner with my husband. It was Asian pear short ribs. The reason I know is because I make them from scratch. And I looked at him across the table and I said, I cannot recruit like this anymore. I'm fascinated at making this a legacy for my company, but I have to do it differently. I want to talk to people who want what I want. I'm going over to LinkedIn. And I said, I'm going to do it for 365 days. And I'm going to study the platform and I'm going to give it my all. And guys, that changed my world. Fast forward a year, and what I can tell you, and just listen through this for a minute. In that year, I was still and became even a higher top income earner with the company. Okay. Ended up in the top 1%, traveled to Maui. But what I want you to understand is I recruited less people. Okay. I want you to think about this. I recruited that people would always be recognized, right? For those of you who are in companies of like number of recruits per month, right? And I was always in the super top tier for income. You never saw my name for being a mass recruiter. Why is that? Because I was recruiting smart for the first time in my 6 years in the company, right? I went straight to finding business builders, people who wanted to create an income producing asset. And they locked arms with me. And instead of me recruiting 10 people together, I found 10 people and taught them how to go find 10 people, right? Because they wanted it. And so now we have 100 business builders on our team. Now everybody goes and finds 10 customers. Now you have 1,000 people on your team, right? Versus me trying to find them all on my own. Does that make sense to you guys? Is this making sense? Right? Okay. So I went to work. I studied every LinkedIn source there was. And what I learned is there were no great LinkedIn trainings for attraction marketing. There's a ton of great LinkedIn training for like how to set up your profile, how to get endorsements, but no one talks about truly understanding the prospective business partners' wants and needs and pain points and how to attract them towards you as a solution, right? And that is when I got to work and I got passionate and I launched this business because I realized this profession retired me. This profession changed my life, and there's an entire network of professionals who need to hear about this in a way that they can digest and listen and lean in and learn, because the way it presented to them up till now was not packaged in a way they were open to receiving. Does that make sense? Right? Okay, so that's what we're going to talk about today. So before I get into content, I want to introduce you guys to my team. Okay, so let me start with, because you guys are going to hear from them. They're going to be supporting you. They're going to be training this week. Let's start with Jackie. Jackie, would you like to go first?
Sure. Hi, everyone. So I am Jackie. I am Melissa's operations backend manager. I'm also a LinkedIn master trainer. You guys are going to be hearing from me on Sunday when I do a training on hashtags and algorithms. And I am super excited to be here. I work for Melissa because I absolutely love what she teaches. I love this method. It works. So buckle up, everybody. You're going to love this.
Awesome. 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 And Jackie's going to be training you this weekend on hashtags and algorithms.
Yep.
Hey, Jackie, can you speak to them a little bit about the text opt-in option?
Yep. I'm going to drop a number here in the chat in just a second. And if you guys have not already opted in, when you opt in for our text messages, we are going to send you a free LinkedIn headline guide. So if you are struggling with your headline, which we will go over later in this training, but you're going to want this kind of to get the wheels spinning, you know, start thinking about what you want your headline to look like.
Yep. Awesome. 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 Thank you. Let's move over to Jessica. Jessica is another amazing human on our Burnout to All Out team.
Hey guys, I'm so happy to be here. This is my favorite thing to do is our Inside Scoop training. And the reason is just like Jackie said, it's just incredible. It's mind-blowing stuff. And I love watching the transformation of people in day one to the end of this, the profiles that they have come up with. We've had people say, I got people interested in my business just like that. So that part for me is super exciting because I love to help everybody fall back in love with their social selling businesses. It's what we do. And we're very passionate about it. And we give so much value here in this week. So if you guys have teammates, if you guys have friends, if you have people who have social selling businesses, we would love to have you guys invite them in. It's an open thing all the time. And who I am is I am the Inside Scoop advisor here. So I am here to just answer all your questions and be in the DMs with you guys and help serve you the best way that me and the team can. So any referrals, any people who are kind of confused, I'm your girl to chat with. Put me in a group message with them and I can help you out. I see so many familiar faces from this week that I've been chatting with you guys, seeing where you're at with your businesses, listening to you and what you want to hear. So if you guys are interested, I will also drop my schedule here where you guys can actually book time, have a 5-minute conversation with me about what exactly you need in your business. So I'm here for that. I'm also a master trainer inside the Academy and I love it all. So I'm excited to keep working with you guys all week.
Awesome. Thank you, Jess. And let's see, is Hallie or Amanda in here? I thought you guys can introduce yourselves too. Amanda, you want to go?
Sure. I'm Amanda. I am Melissa's executive assistant, and I'm also a concierge here in the Academy. So basically, I do any scheduling things that you have. I help with tech, and I'm also just around to ask any questions that you might have, or if you're confused about anything, to assist you with that.
Awesome. Awesome. Yes. And Amanda's really, she's our customer service on the back end to all of our clients. And then Hallie, are you in here? Are you and Randy in here? I've got so many screens, I can't tell.
We are. We're both here. My face has the picture on because I'm like a mad woman doing stuff behind the scenes. So
it's okay.
I can come off camera if you want.
No,
but
you're fine.
I'm helping you guys out.
Yep. Yes. So Hallie and Randy are here. They're really our community managers inside the Facebook page. So if you guys have questions, they can really support you. Some of you are in conversations with Randy as well. So just know that they are advisors to the program as well. All right. So with that, two things really quick. Number one, stay engaged, because if you, for those of you who do your homework, what we're going to be looking at, and one of the things Hallie and Randy are looking for is who's engaged, who's posting their homework. We have swag we give out every single day. We love our Burnout to All Out swag. So stay engaged, because we're going to be announcing winners with that each day. And then number two is we're actually giving out a free Academy seat, or I'm not free, sorry, a scholarship to the Academy. We're going to be giving out a big scholarship on Thursday. How can you win the scholarship? Simply take snapshots of this and share on media. Wherever you share, we're collecting points. Basically, for every place you share is a point. If you share in stories across the platforms, on your pages, and you tag us, you have to tag us so we can track it and count it. But on Thursday, we'll be announcing an actual scholarship to our Academy, right? So those are a couple of ways to, we just like to keep it fun. Okay. So with that, you guys, get your workbook out. And those of you who catch this later in the Facebook page, or you may not be able to watch this whole thing over the next 9 days at noon every single day. I get it. Life happens. All of the trainings will be housed in the guides section of the Facebook community. Another reason we want you over there. So if you're busy this weekend, but you want to catch the replays on algorithms and hashtags, you can go to the guide section and you can download, you can watch, you can binge what you're missing. Okay. So just keep that in mind. The tag, just Melissa Hinault. You can just tag Melissa Hinault. Yep. Okay, so with that, get out your workbook, and we are going to get started on, why LinkedIn versus Instagram and Facebook, and versus LinkedIn. Okay, here's the thing. All you need, 3 things you need to be successful: passion and drive, a computer or a phone, and this piece of paper, right? I'm telling you, by the end of this week, you'll know what I mean. Okay. So this is going to be interactive. I'm going to be asking you guys some questions. I want you to share your insights, okay? So we're going to start with, what are the 6 main reasons that LinkedIn are so different than the other platforms, okay? I want you guys to share in the chat. I'm going to ask, and we're going to talk through it, okay? But the first category I want to talk through, there's actually 7. So I'm going to give you a bonus one before you start with the 1 through 6. Guess which social platform has been named the most trusted social media platform 3 years in a row by users? Anybody want to guess which one's been the most trusted? Put it in the chat. You can share with us what you think is that. Yes, LinkedIn. Okay. So rule number 1, people trust more what comes through on LinkedIn. I've enrolled business partners who don't even use Instagram or Facebook at all, because they don't like the energy, the way the platforms are handled, right? Okay, so that's your bonus for why you should be on LinkedIn, right? Okay, number 1 is age. Okay, I want you guys to guess. Yeah, no fake news, right? Lord have mercy. So I want you guys to guess on Instagram and Facebook, what do you think is the average age of the user of Instagram and Facebook? Okay, what is the average age? Yeah, 23, 25, right? Yes, 23 years old. What do you think the average age is on LinkedIn? We're streaming on LinkedIn, so this will be fun for the LinkedIn folks to interact too. Yes, the average age on LinkedIn is around 35. Okay, so I want you to think about something. Okay, we're going to do a deep dive on Avatar, which is your ideal business partner, over the next 2 days. But I want you to go ahead and start thinking about them. Is your ideal business partner a 21-year-old, or is it a 30 to 40 something? I'm curious. I want you to think about that. Okay. I know for me, I drilled down pretty tight. I niched down when I really started growing my network marketing business, recruiting like-minded women. I wanted women who'd shown up in life long enough to realize that being in corporate America wasn't all that it was cut out to be, right? This is no knock on really young people, but really young people think, having an office and benefits is great, right? Give me a mom who's working 60 hours a week with a high income, who no longer wants to be on the top of that mountain anymore, but has tons of leadership skills, organizational skills, and drive, but just doesn't want to do it on a 9-to-5 schedule in corporate America, right? So part of it just depends on who you are trying to attract, okay? For me, I have a purpose and a vision and a mission in teaching women how to channel their drive and their organizational and leadership skills and build an income producing asset working 4 hours a day. We just talked about this with my mom the other day. I'm like if everyone knew they could work 4 hours a day and build a 6-figure business that was residualized, right? Work it hard for 3 to 5 years and then walk away, and it's like long-term income. It's like a retirement plan from the beginning. And those of you guys in network marketing know what I'm talking about, right? So that was my ideal avatar. So you just have to ask yourself, what demographic is it that you're looking for, right? Okay. Number 2 is income. Okay. What do you guys think the average income is on Instagram and Facebook? What do you think the average income is? Average income, Instagram and Facebook. Okay. Yeah, these are good guesses. So we're saying 35, 50, 18. Okay. So some of you are going to be surprised to know that it's between 21 and 23,000. It's very close to like the age 21, right? Of course, these numbers vary, with time, but the average income is between $21,000 and $23,000 a year. We'll unpack this in a minute. We're going to talk about it, but let's compare that to LinkedIn. What do you think the average income is for the LinkedIn user? What is the average income for the LinkedIn user? Okay. Yeah. So it's actually $100,000 a year. 100,000, that's average. Okay. Now let's unpack that. Okay. Let's unpack that. Cause I know when I first started in social selling, I thought, who needs this? Who needs the income, right? And I was going about it the wrong way, right? Because, and some of you guys might not agree with me, but that's okay. We're all individuals, right? What I came to realize is a lot of people who are stuck in that space are stuck in that space because of choice and lifestyle and lack thereof with motivation and drive. Right? So me giving them a vehicle to change their financial situation 9 times out of 10 is not going to work, because there's a reason they're living on their mom's couch, right? I mean, I'm being slightly dramatic, but you guys see what I'm saying, right? When I pivoted and stood with posture and started talking about an income producing asset, I started talking about an additional income stream. People who make money like money. The average millionaire has 7 streams of income, right? What I also know is that people who are making over $100,000 a year have been showing up in life. They've been somewhat responsible. They've built themselves up professionally. They've got some drive. And so instead of being afraid of recruiting up, I started recruiting at them, realizing that they were no different than me. Guys, I was making multiple 6 figures in corporate America, and I built a network marketing business around it because I was miserable in my 9-to-5. I had climbed Mount Everest, had my back against a wall with 2 kids in diapers, and somebody else was raising my kids. You couldn't find a better person with drive to run at this business than me, because my biggest purpose was getting home, but matching that income. Okay. So don't put a myth in your head that people who make money don't need this. Some of the most successful people in this industry already have really great income, and they see the value of an additional income stream, especially right now in uncharted territory, which we'll talk about in a little bit with the economy, with where we are, with just globally with the recession, right? Okay, now, so that was number 2. The other thing I'll say about income is I don't know what your purchasing price is with your business. But what I can tell you is that people on LinkedIn have the investing capability to invest in your business. Very rarely are you going to get an objection of, I can't afford it. Okay. You may get the objection that the timing isn't right, or it's not the right opportunity, or they've decided they don't want to work with you. But most people are not going to tell you they can't afford your business. Okay. Unless some of you might be in cryptocurrency and some of your buy-ins may be super high, but most of you it's not. Okay. I love that. I don't get many cost objections. Okay. And at the end of it, you can always back into a customer, right? They'll invest in your product. Okay. All right. Number 3. And I see we've got a couple of males here on the line, so you might love to hear this. What do you think is let's talk about male versus female, Instagram and Facebook. Predominantly male or female, Instagram and Facebook? What's the swing? What's the percentage you think? Instagram and Facebook. What percentage do you think is women? All right, we've got some good guesses here. Yeah. So what we know is that there's a slight predominance of female on Instagram to Facebook. It's around 51, 52%. There's slightly more women than there are men. Okay. It's not a good or a bad thing. It just is what it is. But what I want to tell you about LinkedIn is that there's slightly more men on LinkedIn than the other platforms. So for the men on the line who are, excited about building an income producing asset and really get the business model, but don't want to build like what I call, and this is just, again, hopefully I don't upset anybody by saying this, but because people have built millions of dollar businesses doing this, but some of the men don't want to do it the way the stay-at-home moms have on the other platforms, right? Like they want to go straight to business and talk about business. And it's not to say that you can't be on the other platforms promoting product and being incredibly successful, right? But there's a lot of people like me who just want to get straight to talking business on a business platform. And I find that men especially, that's the direction they want to go. They want to talk business, right? And get to finding their business partners to grow their business and income producing asset with them, right? I find I've had a lot of success bringing men between 50 and 65 into my business because I lead with the business. Okay. I have a really nice ratio of men, and well, we can get into that later. Okay. Now let's get into number 4. Okay. Number 4, let's talk about mindset and why people are on the platform. Okay. So I want you to remove yourself as a business owner, and I want you to put yourself into just the consumer mindset. Okay. Why do you get on Instagram and Facebook? Set your business aside. Why do you and most people get on Instagram and Facebook? Put it in the chat. Why do people get on there? Yes, to zone out. Socialize. Yeah, totally. To kind of numb their mind, right? People go there to be entertained. They go there to be nosy, right? See what other people are doing, right? But I can tell you, most people aren't on those platforms to network for a business opportunity. They're not there to network for a new career change with more options, more flexibility, right? Okay. So why do you think people are on LinkedIn? I kind of just gave it to you, but why do you think people are on LinkedIn? Why are they over there? They're over there for business to business connections. They're over there they're constantly, I've been in their shoes. I was on LinkedIn to constantly grow connections in other companies because I never knew when I was going to need to or want to pivot to another job, right? And or connecting because I was in the process of interviewing for another career, or I didn't like the job I was in and I thought maybe I could get more flexibility or freedom with another position in another company, right? I want you to hear me say that out loud because I want you to think about being an owner of a business in network marketing and how you can actually help people who are on that platform, who are looking for what they think is a better fit job with better options, and how you can brand and position your business is actually the vehicle for what they're truly looking for, right? So for me personally, I was in a job where my territory went from the state of North Carolina to all of a sudden covering Maine to Florida, including Michigan to Texas. For those of you guys in the US, that's half the country. I went from being in one state to being told, if I want to keep this multiple six-figure income, I'm going to have to be on the road 4 days a week. What do you think I started doing? Frantically. I started connecting on LinkedIn and looking for new jobs that weren't going to make me be flying all over the country, but match my income, right? Therein lies my sponsor who introduced me to the job, the business that ultimately retired me from corporate America. She found me at the right time when I was open and I saw a vision for what I could do. And she found me and I started building the business in the pockets of my time while I found another job that didn't make me travel so much. But then over those 3 to 4 years, actually 2, over those 2 years, I ran like crazy and exceeded my corporate income and retired from corporate America. To be here today, will never work for another person ever. So again, why do I continue telling you these stories and my story? Because there are people on LinkedIn right now. Some of you are going to watch this live this afternoon and you're that person because you're still looking for another choice. There are people on LinkedIn right now who've been home for a number of months, nearly a year, and now they're having to get back into a commute. They're being forced into a decision about a vaccination. They're being forced into situations they're not comfortable with, and they're looking for something different. And this is your chance to share with them and cast a vision for what you have as an option, a viable, legitimate option that could change their circumstance forever. And it doesn't have to happen overnight. You may recruit them and they start building while they're looking for another job. And they start building that income producing asset so they do have choice and they do have freedom when it's time. Is this making sense to you guys? Yeah? Okay, cool. Okay, so why do people go to LinkedIn? They're looking for business connections. They're looking for choice. They're looking to connect and have that what if for the next scenario, right? Now, this one's one of my favorites. What do you think is the #1 device that is used for Facebook and Instagram? What do you think is the #1 device used for Facebook and Instagram? Yes, it's the cell phone. What does that tell you about the user of Instagram and Facebook? They're on the go, they're multitasking, and they're being pinged and dinged and brought into 12 different places, right? Right? What do you think is the #1 device that is used on LinkedIn? What do you think is the #1 device used on LinkedIn? It's the computer. Okay, let's talk about that for a couple minutes. Okay, I forgot to do this to you guys, so I'll do it now. But the reality is, when someone is on their computer, and by the way, peak hours are during work hours. Okay, their butt is in a chair. They are at work and looking for something else. Okay, they are at work and they are networking while they're at work. And they're way less, distracted than they are on the social platforms, Instagram and Facebook, okay? Just like those of you that I can see your faces right now on Zoom, some of you might be multitasking because I forgot to call you on it. So I'm gonna do that now. Close all your tabs out. Close all your tabs out. I'm telling you, the coaching we're giving you over the next 5 days is invaluable, right? But where I'm going with this is those of you watching through Zoom right now are getting more out of this training and you're more engaged than the people who are probably, and I'm talking to you guys on Facebook, it's not right or wrong, you're getting it done, you're doing what you can today, but there's people who are multitasking. They're sitting in a carpool line, they're at the grocery store, right? So I want you to think about people's mindsets when your message comes through the feed or a DM, okay? So let's talk this out because this happens all the time with our clients. One of our clients recently told us, she was like, before joining the LinkedIn Method Academy, had messaged one of my good friends ad nauseum about her wine business. And this was a friend who was in the art industry with her. They both worked professionally together and her friend never responded to her. It was on Instagram and it was on Facebook, okay? Think about that. Her friend is probably at a soccer game. She's at a bus stop. She's, watching Netflix and she's getting these DMs about an opportunity on a social platform that's not relevant. And she ignored her, okay? Fast forward, same client, DMs, she comes into our academy, changes her profile on LinkedIn, steps into her power as the e-commerce business owner that she is. And guess what? Her friend that she had been trying to connect with on Facebook or Instagram messaged her on LinkedIn. That is attraction marketing at its finest. Messaged her and said, hey, I see that you've launched this new business. Tell me about it. And she's like, I've been trying to talk to her about it for a year and she wouldn't listen. And it was because she chose the right platform for the right message, and she stepped into her power as a business owner on a business-to-business platform instead of sliding into a hey girl DM on Instagram where her friend wasn't interested and was multitasking. It took her friend sitting at her desk at work and seeing that this client had refurbished her profile and was starting a business. Right? Does this make any sense to you guys? Okay, cool. Now, let's talk about organic reach, okay? Algorithms. Who has fun with Facebook trying to beat those algorithms? Yeah. How about Instagram? Who's having fun trying to stand out on Instagram? We're going to talk about how LinkedIn is a wide blue ocean here in just a second, okay? Here's the thing, guys. I made my first 6 figures in network marketing on Facebook 6 or 7 years ago, when the algorithms were not so complex. Do you remember the days where you could post something and your whole network saw it? Do you remember when someone commented on something and their comment showed up in your feed? Okay. For those of you guys watching this on LinkedIn tonight, that still works on LinkedIn. We use it to our advantage all the time to grow our networks. The algorithms are not nearly as complex. The reach is ridiculously high, especially with lives, which we're going to coach you on next week. Okay. The bottom line is LinkedIn is naive compared to Instagram and Facebook when it comes to algorithms. Okay. So your organic reach is through the roof. For those of you who have a large enough LinkedIn network, I would challenge you to make a video and post it on Instagram and post it on LinkedIn and see where you get more views. Hands down, you're going to get more views on LinkedIn. Now, if you don't have a LinkedIn network yet, you're comparing apples to oranges. But for those of you who are working both platforms, okay? Is this making sense for you guys? Yeah? Okay. So here's the thing. I talk about LinkedIn being the blue ocean. Who's read the book, The Blue Ocean? Has anybody read the book, The Blue Ocean? Does anybody know what the blue ocean is? It's an incredible book. And basically it's a book about marketing. And they talk about how you can either be in a red ocean or you can be on a blue ocean. Yes, you can go live on LinkedIn. And we coach to it specifically with lots of training inside the academy. We're going to be doing a broad brush touch on it Monday or Tuesday this coming week. I'm not sure where it is in the agenda, but you absolutely can. We're doing it right now, or we will be restreaming this evening. You can go check it out. Okay, so the blue ocean. Yeah, so the blue ocean, when you're marketing something, you can either be in a red ocean, which is a shark infested market that is red because there's a lot of blood, right? So it's a very competitive market where all the marketers are trying to jockey to look slightly different in a similar market. Now, the book actually speaks to bricks and mortar businesses like Yellowtail Wine. They talk about Yellowtail and how they created a totally new market. It's actually a really cool story. I don't have time to get into it now, but the bottom line is, instead of Yellowtail, well, I will, because it's a really good analogy. Instead of this wine, who's heard of Yellowtail, the wine company? Okay. So back in the day, probably a little bit before I was in college, right? Wines were really like people who consumed wine. It wasn't a very large demographic. And people were confused by it. They either drank beer or like they were very knowledgeable about wine, but there wasn't a huge wine demographic, right? And what Yellowtail did changed the face of how the wine industry works, because they were the first wine company, instead of trying to stand out like all the other wines, right? they decided to go super, super basic and actually market their wines to non-wine drinkers for the first time, meaning they made 3 really basic wines and made them really uncomplicated. They weren't complex. And what happened is they marketed to and opened up an entire new demographic of wine drinkers that didn't exist before. Because instead of being snooty about wine and complex about wine, they actually dumbed it down and made it super easy for the average consumer to easily grab a bottle and go. And what they found is they created an entirely new market that they grew a wine business out of. They weren't even competing. They weren't in the red ocean. Does that make sense? Okay. So what we're talking about here with LinkedIn and social sellers is that social sellers aren't on LinkedIn because they don't know how to use it. They don't know how to leverage it, and they don't know how to market their businesses as the income producing assets that they are in the virtual franchise e-commerce space. They're so used to plastering their product and talking about product and selling product on Instagram and Facebook. They're all living over there trying to stand out. While the rest of us who are business owners looking for business partners to create virtual franchises and know how to talk the language are in a wide open blue ocean, where if you can present and posture yourself in a really great way that attracts your ideal business partner, you're going to crush it. You're going to crush it because no one else is there. It's a wide open blue ocean where most social sellers are afraid to talk. And the reality is, in today's environment, and I'm going to talk about this right now, is that we are living in a gig economy. It doesn't matter where or what you do professionally. People have side jobs. Physicians have side jobs. I've got a friend who's a physician who picked up a concierge program where he goes to see people on the weekends at their houses, right? Like you've got Uber, you've got Etsy, you have, oh my gosh, people are building Airbnbs, people are investing in franchises. Everyone I know who really wants to create a legacy of wealth for themselves is doing more than just their 9 to 5. And people who are in a 9 to 5 and are confident about creating wealth know that they've got to do more than trade time for money for the rest of their lives if they want to truly be set free, right? So where I'm going with this is it's a wide open blue ocean if you can market yourself properly, which is what we're going to spend the next 2 days on. So we'll get into that over the next 2 days. Now, what I want to talk about for a hot minute is the next thing, which is why LinkedIn is so hot right now as a social seller. Okay, I kind of like led into this, but let's talk about why we call it the global trifecta. It's an environmental situation that we're in that's driving crazy results for our clients. Okay, so let's talk about the big 3. Okay, there's 3. Number 1, you guys can write this down, is disruption. Okay, number 1 is disruption. What happens in disruption? What happens in disruption is people think differently. Okay, so let me give you some statistics. In February pre-COVID, so February 2019, I think, we had the lowest unemployment rate in the United States in decades. Okay, so I want you to keep this in mind. Lowest unemployment rates in the United States in decades pre-COVID, but 70% of people employed did not like their jobs. Okay, so I want you to keep that in mind. Everybody was employed, but most people hated their jobs, right? And then what happened? What happened is shit hit the fan, right? In March, right? And it was mass chaos and disruption. And what happens in the midst of disruption in a pandemic? People are like, I didn't like that job anyway, right? People are like, well, how can I do something different? Even like my cousin, who's a financial advisor, who was sitting on his fanny at home for the first time in 2 years, started figuring out how to make additional income on a computer, right? People are questioning if their job's going to be around. People are furloughed. People are forced to think differently, and they still are today on a different pendulum swing. as I spoke to earlier, there are a lot of people returning back to the workforce in an environment they don't want to return to. They've had a taste of the sweet life. They see that they can run a business from home with Zoom, and they're open for the first time. And how did you do it? Because I see how I can be at home and run my laundry and, you know, get things done around the house. Like I want to build my own business. Teach people are open. I'm telling you, you have to be there for the conversation. Okay. So that's number one. Number two is the gig economy. We talked about this. Society is now open to people building a secondary income stream around their 9 to 5. One of my personal enrollments in my business who works in corporate America still has been nervous about talking to her boss about it. And they were at a working lunch the other day and her boss started talking to her about her side business. And my girlfriend was like, what? You're doing something too? Shut up. And then she was able to tell her what she was doing, right? I'm just telling you, a lot of people are open to a side business. Number three is key. And that's why you're here. Okay. Number three is that for the first time ever in the midst of disruption and in the midst of a gig economy, we have a business to business social media platform designed to talk business to business, designed to talk about opportunities. We didn't have LinkedIn in the Great Depression. We didn't have LinkedIn in the huge recession. All right. We do now. We do now. Okay. Is this making sense to you guys? Okay. Awesome. I know we're at time. So let me just wrap up here. In summary, why is LinkedIn a blue ocean for social sellers? Let me give you a summary here. Number one, most social sellers aren't using it. They don't know how to use it. Okay. They're afraid of it. Okay. They don't know how to position themselves. They're uncomfortable knowing how to be over there. Okay. Which creates a blue ocean from home. I mean, somebody said I'm reading and talking at the same time. What was number two? I had a call come in. Okay. They aren't using it. They're afraid of it. They're not sure how to position themselves. Okay. These are all, you're probably talking about the trifecta. The trifecta, number one is the pandemic disruption. Number two is the gig economy. And number three is a social media platform to talk business to business. Okay. All right. So if you're still skeptical, what I want you guys to do after this call is go look up the top influencers in your industry and see if they even have a LinkedIn page. And if they do, how frequently are they using it? Okay. How active are they? Okay. Go check it out. Right. So here's your homework. We're wrapping up for today. I'm so excited to come back for an action-packed day tomorrow. I'll talk about what's on deck in just a second. Your homework, I want you guys to take a screenshot of your current profile, okay, and share it with us, okay, because it's going to transform by Friday through the work that we're going to do over the next couple of days. Take a screenshot of your current profile, and number two, and share it there'll be a prompted social media post on our Facebook page, Inside Burnout to All Out. Go into the comment section of the assigned homework and post your picture, okay? Now, number two is going to be to go research the top 5 influencers in your industry and see if they have a brand presence on LinkedIn, if they're actually leveraging it. Do you believe it's important to go premium? No, great question. No, I don't have premium to this day. I actually teach very strategically inside my academy without having it. Doesn't mean you can't have it, but you don't have to. Okay. Now, reminders, couple things and what's going on tomorrow. So reminders, continue to stay engaged with us here inside the Inside Scoop, because we're going to be selecting one of you each day for some freebies just for being engaged. Number two, the big one, $1,750 value, I think, somewhere along those lines, is going to be a scholarship inside the academy. Take a picture of this, share on social media. There's stories on all the platforms, on your profile pages. We're going to be tallying up. So for instance, if you share in stories on Insta and Facebook, and then you also post on your page, That's 4 total points, right? So we're going to be raffling off and giving, your name goes in the hat each time you do that. So we'll be raffling off one Academy scholarship on Thursday, and then you just tag Melissa Hinault when you do that. Now, as far as, and post your homework in order to get selected for the audit on Friday. So you have all kinds of fun stuff. As far as tomorrow goes, we're going to be talking about your mindset as a business owner in the social selling space and how you stand in your power and posture on LinkedIn with the income producing asset you have. How do you do that? Right? So that's what we're going to get in tomorrow. And so with that, we are all done today. Don't forget that everything's recorded in the unit section. You can go hit replay. If you're loving this, don't forget you can hit the invite button on the Facebook page and invite your teams to come get this training for the rest of the week. They can binge and catch up later. We do give referral money. We give $200 per referral for anyone who decides to jump in. So as you're inviting people in, if they put your name in as the referral and they join our academy, we've been known to give out thousands of dollars in thank you money for new clients that you guys refer us. So with that, we will see you